Thank you for watching, and remember to like this video and subscribe to my channel. Thank you for your support.
There this morning.
Big changes. You went from warmer than average and feeling sultry yesterday to fall-like today, and the map looking pretty empty as we take a look today.
All thanks to this cold front, I think it can. Yes, I think it actually can get into South Florida, and that is going to drop our humidity levels. Not down to like midwinter levels, but definitely a drop even in South Florida, which is going to drop our rain chances as we head into this coming week.
Oh yeah, a lot of people are going to be feeling that nice crisp fall air and probably breaking out the scarves. Take a look at some of these temperatures that we're seeing. Certainly chillier than they were yesterday, and not just that drier, crisper. It is fall-like for most of us.
The amazing thing is this is where you should be. This is average temperatures, and it feels like a shock to the system. We'll talk about that coming up, but still tracking powerful thunderstorms.
Warmest Octobers thus far. You can see the departure from normal so far, especially across the Great Lakes region. We've been seeing temperatures not just a bit above average, but well above average for most of the month.
Yeah, this is the month of October now. The outlook for fall also continues to keep us above average for the entire season. And even out towards the west, even though it's been cooler this month, it's still forecast to be about average as the season ends.
Yeah, so let's take a look at a place like Boston. Look at this. So far for the month of October, you can see well above average for many of the days. We've only been kind of a little bit cooler for 2 of the days so far, and that is why, even though we're now near average, you're like, oh man, it's chilly out there.
Yeah, but it's not just the high temperatures, it's the morning temperatures as well. I mean, morning temperatures closer to where some perhaps afternoon highs should be closer to. We only had basically 1 or 2 days below average in terms of where you are in the morning. Of course, as we head on towards the next couple of mornings, our temperatures will cool off to below average, at least temporarily.
Yeah, it's not going to stick around very long. Okay, so let's take a look at this. The lowest temp that we've seen thus far in Boston is 51 degrees. Our average low is in the upper 40s. So typically, now this is this makes my brain go squish, but I'm going to try to explain this as best as I can. We typically don't see until after October 13th, we don't see us getting below 50, but we have not gotten below 50 degrees yet, and it's obviously already past October 13th.
Yeah, today's what, the 16th or 17th?
17th,
17th,
yeah.
So by tomorrow morning, 17th, 18th, we'll set a new record in terms of the latest we've seen temperatures get below 50, and then it quickly right back up to well above average as we head on towards the middle and latter part of this week.
In Philly, we've gotten to 50 degrees. That is right around average. Tomorrow morning, Tuesday morning, we'll be really close to average. But as we've been talking about, it doesn't last very long. We're right back up in the mid-50s as we head through the middle to later part of next week. So if you like the cooler weather, soak it up while you have it right now.
Yeah, because it's ending again. But so let's talk about, this is fall, but what does this mean for the winter months? Now, we take a look at last winter. You're thinking, oh, well, you know, we're a little bit cooler than average. And you got to remember, winter climatologically is the months of December, January, and February. And February had a deep freeze across the south and Texas. That is really the biggest factor in terms of keeping our temperatures last year at or just below average nationwide across the good chunk of the nation.
Yeah, when you had such extremes in the weather, that really does make a difference in kind of averaging it out. So we have officially been introduced to La Niña as we head through the rest of our fall and into our winter. And here's what ends up happening. You have this large blocking high that's off in the Pacific, and that ends up kind of making our jet stream very variable, especially across the eastern portions of the country.
Yeah, the jet stream is the dividing line between the colder air and the warmer air, also kind of steers storms, and that allows the colder air and the storms to really hit parts of the northwest, northern plains, and it kind of escapes the south for storms. But this is season averages, also La Niña averages. There's always, you know, outliers.
It's gusty with this system, and you're definitely feeling that difference in temperatures. When you get that northerly or west-northwesterly component to the wind in a place like Boston, you're feeling that drying of the air, that cooling it as well. Winds sustained at 15 miles per hour and gusting up to 23 miles per hour. So you're definitely feeling the impacts of that wind. It's exacerbating the fact that you're down in the 50s this morning. So you can see the rain that's moved offshore. It's well past the Cape now, so you guys are drying out and drying out quickly. That's not the case as we look into eastern portions of Maine. Bangor, you're still getting some of that rain moving through, but it is going to eventually clear out. That's also not the case as we look inland back toward the Great Lakes region. We're getting some lake-enhanced rainfall here coming over Lake Erie. You can see Syracuse. You've got some rain moving through. This is all over the 90 corridor as well. A few light sprinkles moving through Buffalo. Now, right now, this is for inland areas, but this is going to continue pushing toward the coast as we move through the rest of your morning. You can see that here. This is going to fill in for eastern Pennsylvania, down across the Finger Lakes region, eventually into portions of the Hudson Valley as well. We'll get some of that rain across Massachusetts and Connecticut. It's not going to be a washout for those areas. Certainly more of the rain is going to be back as we look toward the lakes, but nonetheless, you're still going to have some of those showers passing here or there. It will be a drier day today for cities like Boston than it was, say, yesterday. So let's take a look at what you typically see when we're talking about lake effect snow, because right now we're talking about lake enhanced rain. Your brain probably goes straight to lake effect snow because that's one of the big headlines when we do start to get it. We typically don't see that peaking until the months of December and January. By February, usually we have enough ice covering the lakes that it kind of shuts down our source of moisture that comes from those open waters of the lakes. So we're still a couple months out before we see the real peak of that lake effect snow. Rainfall, though, we have been above average across the Northeast. You can see in Philly nearly 4 inches, in New York more than a foot above average, in Hartford more than 10 inches above average in terms of rainfall so far this year. One place, Paul, that's still trying to hold on to summer a little bit with